Do live.
Okay, just to double check, the public can hear and see our meeting. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, thanks very much. So I'm Dave Snyder, Chair of the Northern Virginia Transportation Commission. Good evening, and I welcome everyone to our July 17, 2025 meeting. I'd like to note that we're starting the meeting at about 7:02 or 7:03 p.m. Now, this is an all-virtual meeting, and NVTC staff follow the procedure and guidelines in our electronic participation policy to give notice to the commission, staff, and the public. This meeting is simultaneously being broadcast to the public on YouTube. For those listening on YouTube, if the live stream transmission fails, please contact NVTC staff via email at support@novatransit.org, which will be monitored during the meeting. Since it has been a while since we've conducted an all-virtual meeting, I'd like to highlight a few important reminders. Please keep your cameras on throughout the entire meeting to comply with Virginia code requirements. We cannot count you towards quorum if your camera is off. Please mute your microphones when you're not speaking up to help cut down on background noise. While we do have a chat function available, no public business can be conducted over the chat. I'd like to note as well that Mr. Spedberg cannot attend tonight's meeting, so DRPT Director Robinson will be voting in her role as his alternate. I'll now ask our board administrator, Rhonda Gilchrist, to conduct a roll call for quorum purposes. She will also announce the staff who are participating virtually. Rhonda?
I almost forgot to unmute myself. Please respond with present or here. Chair Snyder.
Here.
Mr. Alcorn.
Here.
Ms. Bagley.
Here.
Mr. Bierman. I believe
Here.
he's trying. Oh, you did make it on. Okay. Ms. Briskman.
Here.
Ms. Coffey.
Here.
Mr. DeFerenti.
Here.
Mr. Eben.
Here.
Mr. Carantonis.
Here.
Mr. Krizik.
Here.
Mr. Letourneau.
Here.
Mr. Lopez. Ms. Palchik.
Here.
Ms. Reed.
Here.
Mr. Reed.
Present.
Ms. Robinson.
Here.
Mr. Salim.
Here.
Mr. Sickles.
Here.
Mr. Stork.
Here.
Mr. Walkinshaw. Okay, we have quorum. The following staff are participating in the meeting. Executive Director Kate Mattice, Director of Finance and Administration Scott Kalkorff, Director of Programs and Policy Andrew DeVetter, Senior Program Manager Vikram Sina, MVTC Board Administrator Rhonda Gilchrist, Web and IT Manager Melissa Walker, Events and Administrative Coordinator Tenley O'Hara, VRE Chief Executive Officer Rich Dalton, VRE General Counsel and NVTC Legal Counsel Steve McIsaac, Virginia Passenger Rail Authority Executive Director DJ Stadler. I'll turn it back to the chair.
Well, thank you so much to everyone participating in our meeting, and most importantly, thanks to the public that is listening or viewing our meeting this evening. We have a very full agenda, which includes a closed session at the end of the meeting on personnel issues. Since we need to do roll call votes, excuse me, I propose we try to do as many block votes as possible. Are there any objections to block voting?
No.
Okay, not hearing any objections. Is that an objection to block voting, or that's saying you don't have an objection?
That's no objection.
Okay, great. Anyone else? Thanks very much. I'd like to note that we've removed agenda item 8D, resolution 2574, approve and authorize submission of a VRE project in the Northern Virginia Transportation Authority for FY 2026 to 31, a 6-year program funding consideration from tonight's NVTC agenda, since it was not acted on at the PRTC Commission meeting last week. So the first thing we discuss at every meeting is whether we've received any written public comments. So Kate, have we received any public comments this month and in connection with this meeting?
No, Mr. Chair, we did not receive any public comments.
Thanks very much. Then the next item on the agenda is minutes of the June 5, 2025 meeting. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes of the June 5, 2025 meeting?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none, the board administrator will now call the roll for the vote. Please.
Chair Snyder,
Yeah, yes.
Mr. Alcorn,
Yes.
Ms. Bagley,
Yes.
Mr. Bierman,
Yes.
Ms. Brooksman,
Yes.
Ms. Coffey,
Yes.
Mr. DeFrenti,
Yes.
Mr. Eben,
Yes.
Mr. Karantonis,
Yes.
Mr. Krizik,
Unmute.
Yes.
Mr. Letourneau,
Yes.
Mr. Lopez,
Yes.
Ms. Pelchik,
Sorry. Yes.
Ms. Reed,
Yes.
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Ms. Robinson,
Yes.
Mr. Sleem,
Yes.
Mr. Sickles,
Aye.
Mr. Stork, Mr. Stork, are you there?
Aye.
I need to have your camera on. Thank you. And Mr. Walkinshaw, I'm not sure if he's joined yet. Okay, the motion passes. I'll turn it back to the chair.
Thanks very much. Next agenda item is the consent agenda, and it includes 4 items. Kate, can you quickly review the consent agenda items?
Yes, Mr. Chair. The first is to approve a resolution to authorize me to be sending in our Title VI program report to the Federal Transit Administration. This relates to our access to those with English language issues in the way we communicate. The second one is authorizing me to execute an amendment to the I-66 needs assessment consultant contract. This does not ask for any additional funding. This is just using existing funds. The third one is to authorize the chair to send a letter of support to the U.S. Department of Transportation for PRTC's application to FTA's Bus and Bus Facilities Grant Program. And the fourth is actually seeking authorization so that in the future, I can send letters of endorsement for transit projects and other things directly related to NVTC's mission on behalf of the commissions. So those letter of endorsements outside of cycle, because sometimes those applications come up and they're not at the time when commission meetings are happening.
Thank you very much, Kate, for that summary. Does anyone want to remove any of these items from the consent agenda for further discussion?
Move the amendments.
Thank you. And I'm assuming that no one wants to remove any of the items. So I hear a motion to approve all the items on the consent agenda. Is there a second? Motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Okay, the board administrator will now call the roll.
Chair Snyder,
Yes.
Mr. Alcorn,
Aye.
Ms. Bagley,
Aye.
Mr. Bierman,
Aye.
Ms. Brooksman. Ms. Brooksman, you're muted. I see your thumbs up. Ms. Coffey,
Yes.
Mr. DeFrenti,
Yes.
Mr. Eben,
Aye.
Mr. Karantonis,
Aye.
Mr. Krizik,
Aye.
Mr. Letourneau,
Aye.
Mr. Lopez,
Aye.
Ms. Pelchik,
Aye.
Ms. Reed,
Aye.
Mr. Reed,
Aye.
Ms. Robinson,
Aye.
Mr. Salim,
Yes.
Mr. Sickles,
Aye.
Mr. Stork.
Aye.
I need your there you go. And I don't think Mr. Walkinshaw just joined. Okay, the motion passes. Turn it back to the chair.
Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is the Washington Metropolitan Area Transit Authority. We have our newly installed WMATA board member, certainly no stranger to us, Walter Alcorn, here tonight to give the WMATA report. Walter?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. So just a few updates tonight. First, I'd like to thank everyone for helping us get the word out regarding Metro service for the handful of major regional events we've had since the last commission meeting. We had World Pride and then July 4th, so a lot going on. And we had really good ridership across rail and bus and all safe and efficient operations. So really thanks to the Metro team for making all that happen. So just a few items to highlight from the recent WMATA board meetings and activities. So we're now into the FY 2026 budget. It includes several service improvements, most notably longer weekend hours and additional peak service on the Silver Line. And there are more details that you can find in the materials in the packet on things like digital modernization, the 8000 series rail cars, and financial updates. So at last week's board meeting, we had committee appointments confirmed, and I will be chairing our Safety and Operations Committee, and Mr. Smedberg will continue to serve on the Executive Committee. So it's been, the other big news is really the Better Bus Network. So it's been about 3 weeks since that was launched, and the rollout, I think, has been going quite well. It was, as I think everyone here knows, a major redesign, and anything of this scale is bound to present some challenges. But these have been managed within our regular operations, and we're continuing to get feedback from customers, and we'll be making some appropriate adjustments as needed. So we also had some severe weather, as we all know, during the last couple of weeks that's affected service, and the new network is definitely moving forward. And if folks have issues or concerns that you would want to talk with somebody at Metro about, Greg's probably the best person to do that, but feel free to bring up anything during the committee or the meeting discussions this evening as well. So just a couple of other things, as we have previously highlighted with the commission. Blue Line construction is currently underway, and it's going to go through July 26 between Franconia Springfield and National Airport. So we're offering free express shuttle buses from Springfield to the Pentagon, and free local shuttles between Springfield, Van Dorn, and King Street. And additionally, all Metro lines have returned to automatic train operations. This is a big deal, and this is for the first time since 2009. So the weather and the severe weather has actually impacted some of the, at least full deployment of the automatic train operations. It's really a big step towards more efficient service. So, this report has been delivered, at least in part, by Matt Letourneau in previous years. So we are going to recognize Matt at our in-person September commission meeting for his years of service on the WMATA board. Thank you, Matt, for that. And so we won't just be doing that virtually. And then just to remind everybody that the WMATA board does not meet again until early September. So that's all I have. I don't know if anyone has any questions, but I'll turn it back over to you, Mr. Chairman.
Right, Walter, that's quite a full report. Thanks very much. A lot of very positive activity. Do any commissioners have any questions or comments?
Just, I would say, don't forget the Metro Fest happening on Saturday, July 26th.
In Providence District.
In Vienna, that's right, in the Providence District at the Vienna Metro Station. So absolutely. So those of you not going to the COG retreat, Metro Fest is where to be.
No, I just wanted to second that, but also just really, I know Walter and I got to be there when it was kicked off, and it really, to me, this is a game changer, the new bus network. So there may be some minimal frustrations are I think really improving the system, before we get to sort of BRT. How do we improve the lines we have? How do we make them really go to places where people are working, gathering, et cetera? And personally, pretty excited to see improved lines along my corridor, especially 29 and 50, to really help address trying to get more ridership. So pretty excited by the kickoff, and just want to thank Walter and everyone at WMATA for putting the work into that.
Thank you
very much.
Takis.
Yes, seconding the kudos to the WMATA team for doing an amazing job in transitioning into the new Better Bus network. I have a question about this. I was stunned by how little negative feedback. I mean, what's going on? Where's my bus? Kind of feedback I was getting. I was definitely expecting more. So is WMATA tracking that? And can we have, is there any point in time, in the first quarter or first month or so that we can hear about how the rollout worked? Because some routes have changed. And so I would like to hear what the organization sees.
Yeah, thank you, Takis. Honestly, I had the same reaction. I thought we'd be getting a lot more concerns and complaints. They've definitely come in. There's no doubt about that. And Supervisor Palchik mentioned, on the day one, we were at the Vienna metro station, and the buses were coming through, and people had questions. I think the metro staff's done a great job of being on the ground, answering questions. Some of the other tools, electronic tools that are available, I think have helped a lot of folks figure this out. But in terms of tracking, I don't have any data on that yet, but I know it is being tracked. And I know the plan is to make some slight adjustments as needed, but based some on the feedback, but also, there have been issues, frankly, for some of the drivers. They're driving completely new routes. And so that there was an adjustment, not just for passengers, but for some WMATA employees as well. But Takis, I'm happy to get feedback and get the earliest report that we can get on how it's going and get that back to the commission.
Thank you. And to whoever had the brilliant idea of putting the old, for weeks or for months, the old on the bus stops, the old numbers, the route numbers, and the new line numbers, that helped a ton. I heard for a lot of people who are, just habitual riders, that this helped them, and they were pretty confident in using the system on the first Monday of implementation. So thank you again.
Well, thank you, and hopefully some of the more intuitive, the route numbers, changing, and now having A stand for Arlington, Alexandria, an F for Fairfax and Falls Church. I mean, hopefully that has helped with this, because people can say, "Oh yeah, that's right. I'm in Arlington. A, that makes sense." So.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the C was difficult to convey, but everybody saw that as well. Oh, that's cross. Okay.
Yes, right.
Thanks much. Other commissioners with questions or comments? Yes, Matt DeFerrani.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just really briefly, just appreciate the report in the agenda, in the materials, and the progress on the train automation continues, which is great, and all the awards. Don't want to only be sort of think that there will be only positive news, but in this written report, that's what's there. And so just don't think we should avoid mentioning the continued leadership in the letter that we talked about, I think last time, could have been helpful, as well as the APTA awards. So and the budget continued to get better towards the last few days of the budget cycle. So there's a lot good, and hopefully I didn't take too long in describing. Thanks.
Well, thank you, Matt. And I've been in this job for 14, 17 days. So, Matt Letourneau, Paul Smedberg, really the credit goes to them and the rest of the board, and frankly, the leadership team in Metros. I think it's been doing some great work. So hopefully, we can keep the momentum going in the right direction.
Thank you. Are there other questions or comments from commissioners? Okay, I don't see any. Just two quick things from my standpoint. First of all, very positive on the ability to use credit cards now to enter the system. I know I said I love my smart card, my fare card, but I love even more the ability to use credit cards, and hopefully there'll be some way to check up. I would assume that it'll be much easier to attract visitors and riders unfamiliar with the system. So maybe that's something we can talk more about and make sure that people know how really convenient it is now in comparison to what they had before. The second thing is that the Transportation Planning Board received a very interesting report on transportation infrastructure resilience in this era of extreme weather. And I wanted to make sure that Metro either participated in that or has received that report. And I'll be interested in any comments from Metro, because the extreme weather and the extreme amount of rain that we've been having does cause unique challenges to our entire infrastructure system. So I'll be interested in just the reaction of Metro going forward in that. Finally, as a regular rider, it really is so much improved over what it was several years ago. So again, thank you to all the board members, to the leadership, and to all the staff at Metro. Walter, anything else you'd like to comment on at this point?
Just a couple quick things. So first of all, thank you on the tap and go with using credit cards and debit cards. Anecdotally, I've heard that this is being used even more on weekends and also at Dulles Airport. Actually, at both airports, what I've heard, both Dulles and National. So I think it underscores, being able to skip that step of the fare card, particularly for our visitors and our rare riders, is really important. So that's a big step up in convenience. And on the resiliency report, I think Metro's seen it, but I don't know. Kate, do you have any insight into how that was distributed? I'm not sure.
I don't know. I can definitely find out.
Okay. So, but thank you very much, Chair Snyder.
Sure. Thank you. Thanks to, as I said, everyone involved for great work on the Metro system. Any other questions or comments? Yes, Valia.
Well, I think Kate was first, but mine's super quick. I thought you might appreciate this, Dan. My husband found an article in Guardian or another paper in the UK commending Randy Clark and suggesting that London learn a little bit from Metro and his team on fare evasion. But absolutely, everything I've seen has been a great improvement in every way. And the increased ridership definitely shows that.
Yep. Kate.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So one of the things that I know that it was briefly mentioned, but not so specifically, I did want to highlight that WMATA actually just won really 2 big awards on behalf of the American Public Transportation Association. One was actually just handed out last week. They won the safety award for heavy rail for the whole country. So rail safety, that's actually, pretty remarkable. And then the other one that's going to be awarded later at the annual meeting is actually WMATA won Large Transit System of the Year. And so I apologize because I don't think I know, Mr. Alcorn, you knew that, but we didn't put that as the reminder. And so I feel bad, but this is a really big deal. I do believe this is the first time that WMATA has ever won.
Yeah. Kate,
I'll just this is a really big deal.
Yeah, it is. It is a really big deal, and you're right. That was an oversight on all of our parts. But I am going to be going to the APTA conference as part of the team in Boston in September to receive the award. But yeah, I can't find anybody who remembers the last time Metro won this thing. So yeah, it's I think a great third party affirmation of the progress in the right direction of the system.
Okay, great. Any other questions or comments? Yes.
Well, I've had a lot of it. I don't commute on Metro, but I've had many experiences lately, and largely been good. I did have a middle-aged man follow me out. When the gate opened, and I said a lot of things I shouldn't have said to him. So anyway, I'm gonna get myself in trouble, but I gave him a dose of shit. I've seen 4 teenage boys go through just right up against each other before, and then this I just didn't expect it. All of a sudden there was someone behind me walking through, so you can't get all of them. But on the blue line, which ends in my district, of course, I think the communication that was done with the riders was terrific. So we haven't had any complaints on that. I think some of the people can just go to Huntington, get on if they want to, but the way they planned it to do in this downtime of the year is really good. So it'll be back up and operating before you know it, I know. So I want to thank them for their good planning and good communications.
Great, thank you very much. Any other commissioners have any comments or questions? Okay, not seeing any. Next item on the agenda is report from the chairs of the WMATA Committee and Legislative and Policy Committee. We have a report from our new WMATA Committee Chair, Matt DeFerenti, on behalf both of the WMATA and Legislative and Policy Committees that met jointly last month. Matt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Tonight is a good time to give an update on DMV moves and SJ 28. Both efforts, they will not meet until September, October, but they do intend to take action on recommendations before the start of the 2026 General Assembly session in Richmond. So 5A is DMV moves, and the work toward and NVTC's work with DMV moves towards a long-term sustainable transit funding solution. The task force met. It's both WMATA Board and Council of Governments, COG. They met on May 16th. There's a written report of highlights of that meeting available in your June commission materials, but the task force big picture supported a WMATA investment concept that included a state of good repair, rail automation components, that was particularly key, with DC, Maryland, and Virginia each figuring out how to fund their proportional share of the WMATA capital funding need, which we've talked about, and we'll talk a little bit more about tonight, which is currently estimated, that total, at $450 to $500 million. In the same meeting, or in the same time period, DMV moves working groups are developing a regional integration action plan to better align service and identify cost efficiencies across the transit agencies in the region. DMV Move staff are also working to update and refine the funding need estimates for commuter rail and local bus, including identifying key corridors for bus priority improvements. The funding need estimates for commuter rail and bus in Northern Virginia will then be incorporated into the SJ28 work. Speaking of SJ28, I believe we'll hear from Senator Eben in just a moment. It's a generalist, there's SJ28, big picture, is a General Assembly study where NVTC is providing technical support on a regular basis. They last met in June, and they are looking to wrap up their work in November. We're lucky to have Chair Senator Eben here. SJ28 is in coordinating well with DMV moves and closely, and it's looking to solve for the funding needs of Virginia's share of WMATA, VRE, OmniRide, and local bus agencies. Over to you, Senator Eben, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Matt. I'm pleased to report we held our most recent joint subcommittee meeting here, at NVTC on November 23rd, and we had a good discussion as we reviewed estimates for a variety of revenue sources that could support our public transportation needs. And I want to make sure that everyone has a chance to take a look at the handout in your materials. It's attachment 5B on page 79, and that has a pretty comprehensive table showing each possible revenue source and its potential yield at a given increment. The table also includes several lenses to look through the source, where you can analyze the sources, such as the growth potential, ability to encourage transit use, and bond market feasibility. The joint subcommittee reviewed sources that already support transit and transportation, both at the statewide and regional levels. We compared the rates in Northern Virginia with our peers in Maryland and DC, examined potential new sources, and heard about a series of emerging trends like rental delivery fees and the highway use fee. Before I move ahead for what lies ahead for the SJ28 Joint Subcommittee, I want to quickly remind everyone of the ground that we've covered to date. We began a year ago, and we covered a great deal of materials over the last year, from cost containment strategies, financial and performance trends, land use and transit connections, and cost comparisons between Northern Virginia and the rest of the Commonwealth, among others. On the cost containment front, WMATA had highlighted $532 million in cost savings and cost avoidance from fiscal years 23 to 25. And while there's more work to be done in this space, I want to make sure everyone's aware of the work that's been accomplished thus far. Looking ahead, the joint subcommittee will meet in September to review a set of transit agency needs so that we can start to think about how new revenues could meet those needs. And we'll discuss how any new revenues might be structured and how both the Commonwealth and Northern Virginia could be poised to play a role in the transit funding solution. Then in November, we look forward to developing and adopting a recommendation that will go to the General Assembly for 2026 legislative session. And we'll continue to welcome your questions, input, and feedback as we get closer to wrapping up the effort in just a few months. I don't know if there are specific questions, or if not, we can move on.
Thank you, Senator Evan, and thanks for the leadership. That is a serious table that you referred to in the materials. Page 79 is quite detailed and lots to it. We'll shift and we'll probably have questions on this resolution. I think Mr. DeVetter is here to help with it. I'm not going to try and steal your thunder. I do think Kate mentioned that this is the same. We did full process. This is the same text as the resolution last month, but Andrew, I know you're going to cover additional details, so over to you.
Thank you, Chair DeFerranti. So indeed, this is the same resolution as last month. This is NVTC's principles in response to DMV moves funding concepts. And I'm going to give a brief kind of primer and overview of that content as I did at the last commission meeting. So big picture, this resolution is intended to be an important directional guidepost for the commission as DMV moves advances and continues its work towards regional agreement on a WMATA funding concept, regional bus priority, and providing a more seamless customer experience for our region's transit systems. I think that process anticipates that the WMATA board, the COG board, and perhaps others will take action on various plans and efforts in the fall. And so this is an important time for the commission to state certain kind of policy directions and conditional support. So again, the timing here is before the COG retreat. And this is an important opportunity on that direction. So this is not kind of full-fledged endorsement of draft plans. This is very much meant to be sort of directional and principled support in certain directions. Process-wise, this resolution was previewed and discussed at the May 29th Joint NVTC WMATA and Legislative Policy Committee meeting and at the June Commission meeting. We've not heard any comments since that last Commission meeting. So as I mentioned, this is the same content. The resolution itself speaks to that conditional support for principles and direction of the DMV moves WMATA funding concept that solves for WMATA's capital state of good repair and automation needs. DMV moves regional bus priority plan that delivers improvements and ensures access to bus priority infrastructure for all providers while maintaining funding at the jurisdictional level. Early prioritization of certain regional integration recommendations that would help create a more seamless customer experience, and continued regional discussion on integration and coordination that respects local control and policy making. So that was a very high level summary. There's a lot more detail on each of those pieces in the resolution, but in the interest of time, I will keep it brief. So staff do consider this an important time for the commission to state qualified support in certain areas. Will help empower NVTC commissioners and jurisdictional staff and NVTC staff to help speak to the commission's priorities as these efforts continue to advance through the summer and the fall before they reach that final adoption. So all of that information is in your packet, and I will, I think at this point, turn it back to Chair Snyder.
Thanks very much. Do any commissioners have any questions or comments? Okay, not seeing any. We have resolution 2571 before us to approve NVTC principles in response to DMV moves funding concepts. Can I have a motion to approve resolution 2571?
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion, questions, or comments? Okay, hearing none. Rhonda, will you please call the roll for the vote on the motion?
Yes, can I get the person who seconded?
That would be me.
Thank you, Mr. Beer.
Thank you. And also, I'm an aye on the motion.
Okay,
Thought I'd get that out of the way.
I will. Thank you. Chair Snyder,
Yes.
Mr. Alcorn,
Aye.
Ms. Bagley,
Aye.
Ms. Briskman,
Aye.
Ms. Coffey,
Yes.
Mr. DeFerenti,
Yes.
Mr. Eben,
Aye.
Mr. Karantonis,
Aye.
Mr. Krizik,
Aye.
Mr. Letourneau. I'm not sure I think he stepped away. Mr. Lopez,
Aye.
Ms. Palchik,
Aye.
Ms. Reed,
Aye.
Mr. Reed,
Aye.
Ms. Robinson,
Aye.
Mr. Salim,
Aye.
Mr. Sickles,
Aye.
Mr. Stork.
Aye.
The motion passes. I'll turn it back to the chair.
Thank you very much, Commissioners. Much appreciated. Kate, do you have anything to report on TISDAC or on the federal space?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just briefly, and I think that Chair Robinson may touch on it. TISDAC has not met since I last briefed the commission, but I know DRBT did do a briefing to the Commonwealth Transportation Board on the overview of the merit program and potential changes. So sort of hold this space. And I know, Ms. Robinson, you'll probably talk about this later in your report. So just, again, we're going to sort of watch this space in terms of what may be the actions or proposals related to changing the way funding allocation is done for capital and operating for our bus systems. On the federal update, obviously there's been a lot of things going on in the big space as we sort of focus in on the public transit space. In the big bill that the president just signed into law. Interestingly enough, obviously there's a lot of impact, and I know that especially at the state level and our local level, there's a lot of other things that are happening when it comes to the public transit side of things, because the public transit funding is in a highway trust fund. It's not actually related against budget ceilings. That was relatively untouched in that bill. So just sort of put that a little bit aside. That said, in the annual appropriations, which is actually happening right now, there was some reduction in some of the competitive grant programs. In particular, when it comes to public transit, the program that the Richmond Highway BRT would be applying for in a couple years, that got a hit within the appropriation. So that's often happens because that is general funded appropriated. So in the budget that's moving through, or the appropriations bill that's moving through, Housing and Urban Development and Transportation bill on the House side does see cuts in that area. When it comes to some of the other things, we focus on what we refer to as the PREA funding, which that federal funding for state of good repair for WMATA seems to keep going and moving forward. So it's actually sitting in the appropriations bill, as it was also sitting in the president's budget. So that's actually a really positive space for something, at least in terms of the state of good repair. So obviously we're going to continue to track this. I'll be honest, I lean a lot on our the real smart and capable folks at WMATA and VIA and other places who are following this day to day. So obviously if anything strange comes up, I will let you know. So that's all I have on the TISDAC and on the federal update side.
Thanks, Kate. Do commissioners have any questions for Kate? Okay, not seeing any. Next item on the agenda, report from the chair of the Program Advisory Committee. First, a couple just introductory comments. I want to especially update and thank the commission for its continued support for the Envision Route 7 BRT effort. And we'll be entering the next stage of that, and we'll hear more from PAC Chair Palchik in a minute. In most cases, BRT routes are planned by the sponsoring jurisdiction. In the case of Route 7, the corridor spans 4 different cities and counties and multiple roadway owners, including VDOT. In the early 2010s, Falls Church was interested in advancing BRT along Route 7 in the city. Recognizing the regional nature of such an effort, Falls Church asked NVTC to take point on the planning and coordination work along the corridor. Early phases of the study were funded by NVTA, demonstrating the funding role NVTA can play in the bus priority space. As and we do recall that they've approved a BRT plan, and NVTC will be very much involved with NVTA on implementing that plan. NVTC has been instrumental in doing what our individual jurisdictions cannot do on their own, to act as a convener and shepherd this project and corridor towards better and faster bus service. NVTC's work over the last 10 years has laid the groundwork for the improved Metro bus service WMATA implemented in 2021, and the work underway by Fairfax County to design a BRT facility on the portion of Route 7 from Tysons to Falls Church. In the last 2 years, NVTC completed work on the Falls Church portion of the corridor, and now work is underway on the remaining Fairfax County portion from Seven Corners to Alexandria. NVTC staff have the experience and expertise to bring jurisdictional planners and transit agency operating staff together to develop collaborative solutions that can overcome the complexities of the corridor. And I especially want to thank all the jurisdictional staff that have been involved in this: Alexandria, Arlington, especially Fairfax County, and the city of Falls Church. So Delia, I'll turn it over to you for the report.
All right, thank you so much, Chair Snyder. And thank you for the history of the Envision Route 7 project, one of my favorite projects that we worked on, and just so excited for BRT along Route 7 to connect so many of our jurisdictions. And looking forward to hearing from our next presenter, who will be the Senior Program Manager for Envision Route 7, Vikram Sinha. Because bus priority and bus rapid transit is a hot topic in the region right now, with lots of discussion about a regional bus priority plan at DMV Moves and a BRT action plan at MVTA, Vikram is going to provide some education on the basics of bus priority and BRT, and then combine that with an update on the next phase of work on the Envision Route 7 BRT. I also want to know that we have information in your written materials on the recently CTB approved commuter choice projects for the I-395 and 95 corridor. And with that, I'll hand it over to Mr. Sinha.
Thank you so much, Commissioner, for that lovely introduction. My name is Vikram Sinha. I'm the Senior Program Manager here at NVTC. I work primarily on Envision Route 7, but we wanted to set the table for some of those conversations by talking about bus priority and what that looks like. Next slide, please. So here we see a slide that kind of talks about what is bus priority. And this animation on the right shows how we can utilize the roadway more efficiently. If we look at the roadway as a limited resource, rather than, say, widening the roadway, we can increase the number of people using the roadway, increasing throughput and using that space more efficiently. This leads to benefits like expanded access to opportunity, faster, more reliable trips, and reduce greenhouse gas emissions while improving mobility for residents. Next slide, please. So we're going to talk through some of the items in the bus priority toolbox. As noted, there's quite a bit more detail in the kit items, but next slide. So transit signal priority is a tool. It allows a bus to communicate with a traffic signal or traffic light, either delaying or extending the signal in favor of the bus. If no bus is present, no change occurs. And benefits to the region, transit signal priority or TSP keeps buses on schedule, providing a more reliable bus trip that encourages more riders. Increased bus ridership improves the efficiency and capacity of a travel corridor. Notably, there is a version of TSP, a sibling, if you will, in effect in a lot of intersections in Northern Virginia called emergency vehicle preemption. So the concept allows for emergency vehicles to preempt the traffic signal to give them a longer green light to safely travel through an intersection. So some of this is already in place. The signal infrastructure is there. And what we're looking to do is utilize some of that same technology to benefit the bus. Next slide. And then queue jumps provide buses with additional space at a traffic signal or traffic light to bypass vehicles. In conjunction with traffic signal priority, the bus can receive a head start over other vehicles. And that animation that we created in-house illustrates kind of what we're talking about here. Queue jumps allow buses to bypass congestion at traffic lights. This keeps buses on schedule and provides a safe way to merge back into the flow of traffic. Next slide, please. And then dedicated bus lanes, which might be one of the more visible aspects of bus priority, looking to repurpose a parking or moving lane to a bus-only lane. A road can be better organized. On highly traveled corridors with frequent bus service, these bus lanes can provide a smoother, more reliable ride for bus riders. This improves safety and traffic flow around bus stops as well. Bus lanes can have limited hour of operations during peak times. They can also be 24/7. And then we have a picture of a sign from LA that illustrates that a bus lane, depending on policy and jurisdictional guidance, the bus lane can also be used for bike riders, creating a kind of multimodal aspect. Benefits to the region: bus lanes reduce delays to traffic congestion and help raise the visibility of high quality frequent service. And of course, emergency vehicles can also use these lanes. That helps improve and enhance response times to emergencies. Next slide, please. So one of the tricky parts about bus lanes is that they don't work if they are not enforced. If someone is stopped or driving in the bus lane, then the bus cannot enjoy the benefits of the bus lane. In Virginia, this can currently be done through infrastructure design or on-the-ground enforcement. Infrastructure design means a slightly shorter curb that would prevent a vehicle from entering in the bus lane. On-the-ground enforcement would mean a police officer being present to pull over a motorist or write a ticket for a car that's blocking a bus lane. Automated enforcement of bus lanes, which involves a camera mounted to a bus or along the roadway, is not currently permitted in Virginia. There are other examples of automated enforcement in use, such as on school buses. On the right of this slide, we show what WMATA and DC are using to educate motorists about bus lane enforcement. Notably, these cameras that are on WMATA buses turn off when they leave DC and enter jurisdictions like Maryland or Virginia, where that kind of enforcement is not permitted to the legislature. Benefits to this: bus lane enforcement ensures that the region's dedicated bus lanes can reduce congestion for our region's transit buses and emergency vehicles. Next slide, please. Another aspect of bus priority is enhanced bus stops. Bus stops are the front door to a transit system. Some bus stops just have a sign, but for world-class transit experience, you need any combination of these features. There is no established definition for a bus stop, but it's one of those when you see it, you know it kind of situations. And benefits to the region: enhanced bus stops are critical to supporting existing ridership and attracting new riders to the bus. It's a quality of life issue. Next slide, please. And then here we see some enhanced bus stops around the region, just working counterclockwise. We have an example of a floating bus stop in Roslyn, bus stop shelter with a bench, level boarding to let folks get onto the bus more easily, the Crystal City Transit Station, which includes public art. And then we have an example of a SAD bus stop, no sidewalk, improvised seating, and no sun weather coverage. So really, this is about giving the bus rider some dignity and some shelter from the weather. Next slide, please. So what about bus rapid transit? So BRT is specialized high-quality transit, and bus priority is one aspect of BRT. There are other aspects of BRT that are not necessarily bus priority. That includes policy decisions such as off-board fare payment, all-door boarding, larger vehicles such as articulated buses or the buses you see with like an accordion in the middle, service planning, so higher frequency for those bus riders, and then communicating and branding around this higher quality bus service. Next slide, please. And then here we see examples of bus rapid transit in the United States. There is an NGO that kind of grades and rates BRT throughout both domestically and internationally. These examples are from left to right: San Francisco, which has BRT Silver on Market Street, Cleveland, Ohio, with BRT Silver, and then in Virginia, Richmond has BRT Bronze. And these are different metallurgical gradings of BRT. You might be curious, does America have gold BRT? It does not. San Francisco has the highest rated BRT. And these are basically judging based on how much bus priority is provided and the level of bus stops and features. And the more features and the more separation from traffic that the bus enjoys, the higher the rating from this organization. Next slide, please. And then, of course, what is going on in the region? As we've talked about in this meeting tonight, there's been quite a few conversations, but the two primary ones are DMV Moves and NVTA's BRT Action Plan. We are participating in both efforts, and NVTC is happy to participate. The DMV Task Force wants to coordinate on bus priority infrastructure that leverages capital funding to create operational efficiencies for existing routes within the WMATA compact region. And then NVTA is identifying corridors in Northern Virginia that could support a future bus rapid transit network. Next slide, please. So what is NVTC going to do and continue to do? We will continue to engage on transit signal priority and other transit technologies. We're looking to work with our jurisdiction and bus operating partners to support updates and alignment of TSP infrastructure among agencies, jurisdiction, and roadway owners. We are also currently collecting regional data with our jurisdictional partners on what bus priority infrastructure is currently in place, as well as plan to better understand the landscape and then advocate for future growth. And then NVTC is continuing its role to coordinate and convene our jurisdictional partners and bus operators on bus priority and transit signal priority in Northern Virginia. And lastly, close to my heart, advance Envision Route 7 planning and outreach efforts. Next slide, please. And so here we are talking about Envision Route 7. Next slide, please. So a quick update, as folks are familiar, there's quite a few BRT lines in planning Northern Virginia, but Envision Route 7 kind of heads east to west, north to south, not directly pointed at DC, but rather serving the region along 4 jurisdictions. The project corridor is 14 miles, and it goes through varied roadway and urban treatments. This means that Falls Church has a very different experience from Fairfax County, has a very different experience from Arlington, but all of these locations benefit from this project. We see wide-ranging income and transit-dependent residents as this project corridor travels through the region. A earlier scan of the project corridor revealed that there's a little over $518 million in capital project funding that has either been applied or is being planned out that will support Route 7 BRT and improve bus operations in the near term. Previous project planning has established route and mode for transit. And of course, this project also, while going through 4 different jurisdictions, has different roadway owners, including VDOT, Falls Church, and Alexandria. Overall, Envision Route 7 is looking to deliver high-frequency, high-capacity service. We are looking to do context-sensitive bus priority treatments with enhanced bus stops and boarding islands. Next slide, please. And then Route 7 has thriving Metro bus service currently. Next slide, please. So the current route is Metrobus F20, formerly the 28A, which sets the stage for Envision Route 7 BRT. Currently, the F20 is running on 12-minute service, which WMATA implemented in 2021. As a result, we're seeing a huge success story, very high daily ridership, 67% above pre-pandemic levels, 9th highest ridership in the Metrobus system, and the highest in Virginia. So we're looking to build off of the success story. Next slide, please. So our approach for BRT is 2-pronged. One is that we are looking to layer bus improvements and increase frequency of the F20 while simultaneously advancing the capital project planning. We believe that short-term phase enhancements, both to service and infrastructure, can build towards that longer-term vision. Context-sensitive multimodal treatments that support local needs and expectations are what we're looking to do. And then increasing the efficiency of bus service and enhance the passenger experience is what we're looking to achieve. We believe better bus service can be achieved in advance of a major capital project. Next slide, please. So the mobility analysis that the commission had previously authorized this year has started. This work is looking to do a deeper dive on the operational options for the City of Falls Church, completing the corridors mobility analysis. In addition, in Fairfax County, a model will be created of the corridor as it currently operates, and two options will be overlaid on this model: center running versus curb running bus lanes. These models will allow us to determine the operational impacts of bus rapid transit along the study corridor. We will also be facilitating community conversations around bus rapid transit along the overall project corridor. And then lastly, looking to resolve the southern terminus of BRT in Alexandria. And we've had some great conversations already, and we're looking at whether the BRT should end at Southern Towers or Mark Center, serve both, or possibly even provide the community additional service at the end of line. Next slide, please. So these are some of the partners that we're working with. National Capital Region's Transportation Planning Board. This study is in the Transportation Improvement Plan, TIP, with a sponsor from DRPT, which we're very grateful for. Through the Federal Transit Administration, we are their grant partner, utilizing two community project funding allotments from Congressmen Beyer and Connolly, which we're also very thankful for. DRPT is also our technical grant partner, and then of course the local jurisdictions provide funds as well for the study. With VDOT, we are reviewing and commenting on the work that our consultant, Kimley Horn, is doing on the project data collection as well as analysis. VDOT is also a key partner to realize bus priority treatments, working with WMATA on incorporating our project into their bus network redesign efforts, as well as other bus improvement efforts. We are investigating the feasibility of higher frequency bus service, possibly through commuter choice funding. And then with NVTA, we've been collaborating with the BRT Action Plan. And of course, NVTA is a potential funding partner for engineering and construction. Next slide, please. Future bus service on Route 7. Critically, this study will advance jurisdictional decision-making on BRT route and bus treatments. However, this study is not making bus operation recommendations and is not looking to remove any bus routes. In parallel with this study, NVTC is convening jurisdictional staff, VDOT, and transit agencies to discuss transit service in the corridor. We're working with our local partners and bus operators to ensure the community is served. We're exploring potential opportunities around local and limited bus service and discussing potential for multi-operator use of BRT treatments. Next slide, please. This is just a quick overlay of what the project timeline is. It's an 18-month project, 2 phases of community outreach, with those additional subtasks looking at Falls Church operational analysis, and then that Southern Towers piece. Those 2 subtasks are kind of in what we're calling chartreuse. And then the purple is the community outreach piece. And then that modeling, the Fairfax County kind of VDOT piece is in that bluish green at the top. Next slide, please. So our next steps are to listen and incorporate. Key takeaways for you, commissioners. The work has started. We know that there will be presentations to board and commissions, and we're happy to attend and provide updates. Our outreach is to begin later this summer, early fall, and we are seeking your guidance on opportunities for community outreach and conversations. Please let us know if there are any events or anything you think that we should know. We've had some great conversation and connections made already, but really looking for any additional ones that we might not be aware of or things that we should know, because the landscape, of course, is always changing. NVTC staff will keep commissioners updated on study progress at commission meetings and provide more substantive updates at the program advisory committee meetings. And then staff will brief commissioners whose districts are along the project corridor, in addition to working with their offices on outreach efforts. And last slide, please. And here you see 2 pictures of the work has already begun. On the left is a traffic camera installed to collect vehicle data. This is near the Eden Center. And on the right, NVTC and Fairfax County staff rode what was then the 28A, now the F20, to better understand the project corridor and look at pain points and better understand the bus rider experience. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Thanks for the general report on BRT and especially the Route 7 BRT. Do commissioners have any questions or comments? And again, if you have ideas about public outreach, please bring them to the attention of NVTC staff. Okay, not seeing any questions or comments. Next item on the agenda is a report from the Virginia Passenger Rail Authority. We much appreciate this initiative. In fact, one could even say it's historic when you think about the potential of linking all elements of the Commonwealth together in an effective and efficient rail system. Exciting to say the least. So we're particularly pleased to have the VPRA's Executive Director, DJ Stadler, and he'll provide an update on the progress and the investments that the Commonwealth has made to make such a thing possible, and includes, of course, the VRE that we'll be talking more about in a few minutes. So welcome, Mr. Stadler, and thanks so much for being here and for your work. And for all the people that have been engaged in establishing VPRA and working on it. Thanks. Welcome.
Thank you, Chair Snyder. I appreciate it. And thank you, members of the commission. When you call it historic, I start to shiver a little bit because I get enough pressure from Secretary Miller. Now I'm feeling it from other places. So thanks. But you're absolutely correct. Look, we've been given a great opportunity, and it's thanks to the support of so many people on this call right now to really transform the way Virginians move. So if you look at the first slide, it's just a little reminder. If you go to the next slide, it's a reminder of why we were created. We were created because back in the mid 2010s, 2015 or so, there was a proposal to add yet another lane to the highway in an attempt to reduce congestion. And that cost would be about $12.6 billion. Thankfully, the leadership then had the foresight to say, hey, we should look at rail. Rail could be another opportunity. And that's how VPRA was created. For about half of the price, actually less than half of that price, we're going to be able to, between 2019, when we were first born, legislated in 2020, first employee in 2021, between then and 2030, we're going to be able to double the number of trains, frequencies throughout the Commonwealth to include VRE trains, adding nights and adding weekends. For again, half of the price of what that one lane would have cost. So we were created, as I said, 2020. We started our work in 2021. We have agreements with CSX and agreements with Norfolk Southern. The first one was in 2021 to get us to the New River Valley. And then we amended the agreement or came to a new agreement in 2024, which allowed us to purchase the Manassas line, which gives us full control when all of this work is done of all of the VRE slots from Broad Run in and from Spotsylvania in. The next slide talks a little bit about the projects that we have in Northern Virginia. We've got about 15 projects all across the Commonwealth. Tonight, just in the interest of time, I'm going to focus on the 5 projects here in Northern Virginia. You see them starting in Washington, D.C. The challenge is that you've got 2 tracks coming out of Union Station now for passenger. They merge with freight tracks and they become tracks that are 3. And then you go to 2 as you cross Long Bridge. So you've only got 2 tracks for freight and passenger. Then you go to 3 tracks in Alexandria and then back down to 2 tracks. What we're going to do is we're going to add infrastructure that will make it possible to have 2 dedicated passenger tracks all the way from Washington Union Station south to beyond Alexandria. So you will always have passenger tracks separated from freight tracks. The combination of freight and passenger on the same rail is the #1 cause in America of on-time performance failure. So we are going to solve that for Northern Virginia. Next slide talks a little bit about the biggest project. When we first approached CSX, we said that we wanted to add more service and we wanted to be a partner. We didn't want to fight CSX and say, look, we passenger rail have rights. We want to go on there. We came to them and said, we understand that as much as passenger trains dislike freight trains because you get in our way, freight trains don't like passenger trains either. So what can we do together in partnership to make the network work for all? And they said, look, we can't do anything until the Long Bridge is replaced. Right now, the Long Bridge is at 98% capacity. It's 2 tracks right across the Potomac River. You cannot add any more trains unless you're adding them at 3 o'clock in the morning. So the first thing we did is we said, fine, we'll tackle the Long Bridge. As we've discussed in this commission before, it's built in 1904, over 100 years old. It's going to be $2.7 billion to replace it. I'm happy to report that, as you'll see on the next slide, that we've signed contracts to begin that work, and that work has begun. We made the decision to split the Long Bridge project into 2 separate packages because they're 2 very different projects. If you go northbound and you start at the Long Bridge Aquatic Center, the first portion of that goes over the water, and that the construction folks won't like this, but that's a relatively easy build because you're separate from the track that's already in place. You just build a bridge over the water. When you get to the northern edge of that Potomac River and go actually into DC, that's where it really gets complicated because you end up having 6 different bridges. You've got to go over Ohio Drive twice, Washington Channel, GW Parkway, 395, and you're building contiguous with the current tracks that they're now all the way around the corner into L'Enfant Plaza. So that's really the more complicated one. That's actually the one we started first. We, as you see on the slide, we awarded that to Skanska Flatiron. We've been negotiating all year long. We finally came to agreement and got that construction contract approved by our board in June, and we are moving forward. If you go on the train now, right by where the Salamander Hotel is, you can see on the right-hand side going northbound, they're doing piling work already. On the left-hand side, they're removing that old out-of-use track. So we will have 4 tracks going right through there, 2 passenger, 2 freight, and then it'll connect right into L'Enfant Plaza. South Package, we actually signed the contract earlier this year. They're validating scope, but they also have started work. As you go over the Potomac today on the train, you'll look where the bridge is going to be, and you see the cranes. They're already doing the piling work. So work is well underway. We're making progress. When we were created in 2020 with this portfolio of projects, we said Long Bridge has to be done by 2030, and knock on wood, as of July 17, 2025, we are still on schedule to be done, adding service in 2030. So that continues to be a good news story, keeps me up at night. Next slide talks about, if you go just a little bit further north, you go to the L'Enfant Plaza 4th track. Right now, you can only have 1 passenger train at L'Enfant. At the time, you've only got the 1 platform. This is a project where actually VRE is taking the lead on, but it's going to connect to our Long Bridge project. It's just over $100 million, and this will make it so you can have 2 trains at the same time unloading. Huge, huge relief to congestion there in the city. Next slide, if we go further south, you get to the 4th track project. So this is in Alexandria. Right now, you've got the 2 existing tracks on Long Bridge that turn into 3 tracks in Alexandria. To continue that 4 tracks, 2 passenger, 2 freight, we are going to add a 4th track from the southern end of the Long Bridge project south past the Alexandria station. We started some clearing work on that. Thankfully, we just got access to most of the right of way that we need. We've had great partnership from a lot of folks on this call. I don't want to call the folks out because I'll forget somebody and then I'll get nasty emails from Mike McLaughlin. But really, we've had great partnership with folks in the community to help us get access to the temporary easements we need to get this done. This again will give us the true 2 dedicated passenger tracks. One of the challenges, if you go to the next slide, that we have on the station right there is just north of the Alexandria station. We had 2 very old bridges over King and Commonwealth. They don't need to be replaced now, but they need to be replaced sometime in the next 5 to 7 years. So we made the decision with CSX and with VRE that while we're in there digging up all that track and putting new track in, we are going to replace both of these bridges. We have, again, a great partnership from Alexandria. You see from the pictures there, currently anyone that's been under them, they're very, very narrow and you don't have a whole lot of room for pedestrians. Unfortunately, because they're tight, you get a lot of automobile strikes, automobiles that hit the bridge. And every time you get a bridge strike, we've got to have a rail engineer go out and make sure that the bridge is still sound for railroad traffic. Even though the closest rail inspector could be 5 miles away, in rush hour, it could take an hour to get there. And so all the trains have to stop in rush hour. Thankfully, with this project, we're partnering with Virion, we're going to widen both of those. So there's a lot more room both for automobiles and pedestrians. The next and final project, just heading further south, we get to what we call the Franconia Springfield bypass. Unfortunately, when this railroad between Washington, D.C. and Richmond was designed, north of Springfield, all of the passenger platforms are on the west side of the track, and then south, all of the passenger platforms at the stations are on the east side of the track. So when we sat down with CSX 5 years ago, they said, you can have dedicated track all you want, but when you get south of Springfield, you've got to cut across our freight, and that's going to cause congestion. So we've got to come up with a way to get you from the west to the east. This bypass project does just that. It's a $414 million project. We awarded it earlier this year. You see the picture on the bottom right. I snicker, and I probably shouldn't. But the way the environmental rules work, we had to get all the tree clearing done before a certain date, or you go into a bat moratorium where you can't do any work because the bats want to do their work. And so we were really under the time crunch to get that done. Thankfully, we had all the machinery out there. We got all of that land clear, and we're ready to start construction. We started construction in June. The first thing we're doing there is we are building what's called a shoe fly. And what a shoe fly is in railroad terms, it's like a detour. It's a new lane. So the trains that are in service now can take this new track around the construction site. So our folks can work without being bothered by the active trains. Shoe fly construction again started last month. That shoe fly will be done about this time next year. And then we'll start in the fulsome construction of the bypass itself. Huge benefit for on-time performance and freeing up congestion. If you look at the next slide, it talks more about what we are doing as a network. We have seen since passenger rail started in Virginia under the PREA law back in 2009, that if we put trains into service, people will ride them. Right now, when we first started with VPRA, we had 5 daily round trips. We have increased that to 8. By the time 2030 comes along, we'll have 13. You can see the map of the entire Commonwealth. We are working to get rail service available to everyone across the Commonwealth. And then again, and Rich can talk about this more, but right now we've got the 16 daily round trips, and we're going to almost double those to include adding nights and weekends by the time this whole project is done. Just on the next slide, I'll do this very quickly because I know we're crunched for time. You see our ridership continues to set records. We were setting records before COVID in 2019. During COVID, we were setting records, the bad records. We had very few riders, but we have come back and more than eclipsed those 2019 numbers. The next slide shows it's not just in one place. Roanoke line, we're up 12% year over year. You see the different percentages. Every single route that we have is growing in ridership because people see they would much rather be on a train staring at their screen or taking a nap as we get older than being behind the wheel stuck in rush hour traffic. One of the blessings we have at VPRA is our mission is bipartisan, whether you're Republican, Democrat, Independent. You don't like being in rush hour traffic, and everybody wants us to get this done. And we've been flooded with support, and we're thankful for the support we get. The last slide will just show you the increase that I talked about. This is all Virginia ridership starting at the bottom of 2019. We had a record of 953,000 riders. In calendar year 2024, which ended last December, thank you for stating the obvious, DJ, we had 1.4 million riders, and our 25 number is going to far eclipse that. So 46% from pre-pandemic numbers continues to show when these trains go in place, we will get the ridership. It's our goal to get cars off of the highways. And again, we can't do it without your support. And we're just thankful for the opportunity to keep you all updated. So that, and I tried to hit my 10 minutes. Oh, actually, I did okay. I did 9 minutes. That's my presentation. Happy to answer any questions.
Wow, what an amazing story. Thanks so very much. Do any commissioners have any questions or comments? We're not seeing any. I know that we're strongly supportive of the efforts, and we'll probably invite you back on other occasions as to how we're doing, how you're doing. But again, anyone who's traveled abroad and recognizes the train systems in other developed countries, it's really exciting that Virginia is addressing this effectively and efficiently. So thanks very much. Again, any questions or comments from commissioners?
thank you. I'd be thrilled to come back anytime, sir.
Thank you very, very much. Appreciate it. Take care. Okay, so the next item is the Virginia Railway Express. CEO Rich Dalton, I think, is here tonight to give us a CEO report. We're also here from VRE Operations Board Chair Sarah Bagley, who has been very, very busy the last few weeks and months. So we'll turn it over to her at some point. But Rich, do you have a report to give?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Again, you have the CEO report in your package. Just as a quick overview, our on-time performance or reliability definitely below our target of 90%. We ended up in the low 70%. I will say that largely contributed to, we had a couple of days of infrastructure issues coming out of Washington Union Terminal, and then coupled on top of that is just say the wicked weather events that we've experienced throughout the month of June. And just as a reminder to folks, it's not necessarily, I mean, the reliability numbers reflect that, but due to those events, the safest thing for a train to do when there's high winds, lots of rain, unpredictable weather to come through is to either slow them down or stop them, frankly, similar to what you experience when you're transiting the interstate highway systems and secondary roads and stuff. So nonetheless, that came in slightly below our target. Total ridership for June, for us, not unexpected. We're about 13% lower than the month of May. When I say not entirely unexpected, we had the front end of the 4th of July holiday, and typically in June we do experience some reduction in ridership. But overall, also June, as of June 30th, that ended our fiscal year. Just to give you a slight, just some data there. Our fiscal year 25 that ended June 30th compared to our fiscal year 24, total ridership was up 25% year over year. And then while I'm on the ridership topic, I just want to alert the commission members to the fact that obviously throughout the years we've tracked ridership continuously. At the end of June, throughout the inception of VRE, total ridership for VRE hit 99,295,020 riders. So we're getting close to 100 million riders total on VRE, which we think will actually hit in the September timeframe. So we will take a moment to celebrate that with our passengers. That will happen on a particular day that we don't know yet exactly what day that will, and we're not going to know exactly what riders. So we're just going to get out there and celebrate that with all of our riders on a given day. So definitely be communicating that in advance to not only commission members, operations board members, but the public as well. And then I did want to end with kind of going back to Commissioner Alcorn's report. I did just want to state that in support of the Blue Line shutdown, VRE, again, just trying to make that shutdown is painless, if you will, to WMATA riders, as VRE went ahead and extended to WMATA riders. So typically some WMATA riders would alight from trains, VRE trains at Franconia Springfield to catch the Blue Line. We extended, and they would purchase, monthly tickets or multi-ride tickets to Franconia Springfield, which is the outer bounds of our Zone 3. We did extend to those riders who are riding into either Alexandria or Crystal City. which is our Zone 2, to allow those riders to, from a promotional standpoint, just allow those riders to ride for free on VRE. Again, just to minimize the impact, total impact to, riders in the region as it relates to the Blue Line shutdown. So that is my report, Mr. Chair. And
Thank you very
apologize
much.
for the background information. I have a train going by right behind me.
Thanks very much. And I would note that Mr. Dalton has announced that he is planning to retire effective October 3, 2025, and will recognize his service to VRE and the commissions in the fall. Any questions for Mr. Dalton? Okay, not seeing any. Sarah Bagley, she is chair of the Operations Committee. Sarah?
Oh, wait, am I unmuted? Can you guys hear me now?
Yep.
Okay,
Gotcha.
sorry. I was saying that I do intend to be the 100 millionth rider. Like we're gonna find a way to make that happen. But I'm very excited about that achievement. Thanks for the presentation, Rich. Moving into our action items tonight. We will be potentially moving for Resolution 2572, which is the VRE System Plan 2050, which includes the associated service plans and proposed supporting capital investment priorities. The resolution also requests the VRE CEO to make periodic and regular updates to the System Plan 2050 and to report those results to the Operations Board and the commissions on an annual basis. Just a reminder that this plan is not a budget or a commitment to provide specific funding for this plan. Commission approval for specific service implementation and capital improvements will be sought separately, and adoption of the system plan does not commit VRE financially. If funds are not available, plans will not be implemented. The VRE System Plan 2050 provides a framework for VRE system growth and decision-making through 2050 and identifies the capital investment and operating scenarios recommended to achieve the plan vision to grow the system to serve the region as the transportation service of choice, creating meaningful connections and economic opportunities in a safe, sustainable, reliable, and equitable manner. I think it's fitting that we're talking about System Plan 2050 after Mr. Statler's presentation on VPRA. As I listened to that presentation, I could hear how the System Plan 2050 is designed to build off of these significant infrastructure investments and the vision of separating passenger and freight. So I'm glad that these two discussions are happening sort of back to back tonight. We've already had comprehensive VRE staff presentations on the system plan at our June commission meeting, but I want to give Rich Dalton an opportunity to speak any further to the plan and the Ops Board's adoption of it at our last meeting. If Rich had any other comments.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Chair Bagley. Just wanted to, I'll just do this in plain speak. I hope the rest of the commission members, as you heard Mr. Stadler's presentation, the drive and the motivation and enthusiasm, if you will, on advancing these very, very, very important infrastructure improvements. I mean, at the end of the day, VRE is the largest beneficiary of those infrastructure improvements. Yes, intercity rail, passenger rail throughout the Commonwealth benefits as well. But VRE is the potential largest beneficiary of that. And I don't think I'd be speaking out of school also to note that Mr. Stadler, in his previous role with one of our very good partners at Amtrak, was a daily rider on VRE and experienced the VRE service firsthand and has been a very big advocate for us. So just wanted to point that out. The plan that's in front of you largely leverages the major capital investments the Commonwealth is making through transforming rail in Virginia. And of course, like I said, supports both commuter regional rail and intercity passenger rail. The other thing I just wanted to note is that that based on your action tonight, of course, moving forward, lots of things that will be, continuing with this plan moving forward, as stated in the resolution, and again, unanimously adopted by the VRE Operations Board, would be this taking a slightly different approach with system planning at VRE, in which we will continue to do ongoing, what I refer to as maintenance of the plan, and continuing to update, ridership demand, and of course the various cost components, both on the operating side and the capital side, and more specifically, I just want to also state that VRE staff, as we enter into the fall, we want to be able to, we're gonna stand up essentially a road show and basically go around to the various jurisdictions, and not that the jurisdictions haven't been involved in this, they definitely have, but just go and brief the various jurisdictions on the plan, and basically establish, sort of a new floor, if you will, to continue ongoing discussions about this particular plan, and as we advance it in the forward. Our staff has envisioned that this become not a static plan, it's a very dynamic plan, and we continue to change and be able to modify the plan as, frankly, our external environment changes around us, and we want to be very responsive to that. So that's essentially, those are just a few points I wanted to make in addition to Chair Bagley's comments there, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, very helpful. So a couple things to keep in mind, that this is a plan at this point in time, but it's in some senses an evergreen plan that will unnecessarily change with circumstances changing. But it's an exciting plan, and it does not commit to any particular project or financial commitment. That's all done through separate votes and decisions down the road. So those were a couple key points to make about it. One point that was interesting to me was page 7 of the plan, where we talk about the kind of service that we would love to see in the future. I just hope that at some point the circumstances will make that possible. But we will adjust the plan according to what we're able to do and when we're able to do it. So those were any comments I had. Do any commissioners have any questions or comments? Okay, I'm not seeing any. We have Resolution 2572 before us to adopt the VRE system plan. This is a very important action, a very exciting action. Can I have a motion to approve Resolution 2572?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Second.
Seconded.
Second.
Great, thank you. Any other questions or comments? Okay, Rhonda, will you call the roll, please, on the motion?
Chair Snyder,
Yes.
Mr. Elkhorn,
Aye.
Ms. Bagley,
Aye.
Mr. Bierman,
Aye.
Ms. Bristman.
Aye.
Thank you. Ms. Coffey,
Yes.
Mr. DeFerenti,
Yes.
Mr. Eben. I don't see your camera on. Are you there? Not there. Mr. Karantonis,
Yes.
Mr. Pizek,
Aye.
Mr. Letourneau,
Aye.
Mr. Lopez,
Aye.
Ms. Palchik,
Aye.
Ms. Reed.
And Evans, yes.
Oh, Eben, thank you. Ms. Reed,
Yes.
thank you. Ms. Robinson.
Wait, you forgot me.
Oh, Mr. Reed, sorry.
Aye.
Ms. Robinson,
Aye.
Mr. Salim,
Yes.
Mr. Sickles,
Aye.
Mr. Stork.
Aye.
The motion passes. Turn it back to the chair.
Well done. Thank you all very, very much. Next item, item 8C, Sarah.
Thank you, Chair Snyder. For Action 8C, the Commission is asked to approve Resolution 2573, which approves an updated, amended, and restated plan of delegation of authority from the Commissions to the VRE Operation Board. The proposed amended and restated plan of delegation of authority is intended to clarify the limited range of matters in which the Operations Board may act in the name of the Commissions. These matters are consistent with those originally delegated by the Commissions to the Operations Board in the 2005 plan of delegation, fully implemented in 2008. As such, the amended and restated plan is not an expansion of the Operations Board existing delegated authority. Rather, it's a clarification of the authority of the Operations Board, primarily related to the implementation of Commission-approved capital projects. VRE General Counsel Steve Magazik is available to answer any questions on the plan of delegation. And I don't see Steve, but if I can certainly take a gander at any.
I am here.
Oh, there
I'm
he is.
here.
He's
Yep, I'm here.
fuzzy.
Any questions? Okay, not seeing any. Sarah, continue.
Sure. So we're going to do, I think, the others in a block. So Action 8F is Resolution 2575. The Commission is asked to approve this resolution to approve a purchase and sale agreement with Spotsylvania County for acquisition of the Spotsylvania County VRE Station parking lot. As a condition of Spotsylvania County becoming a member of PRTC and a participating jurisdiction in the VRE Master Agreement, the county agreed to build a parking lot at the new Spotsylvania County VRE station. By agreement between the county and the Virginia Department of Transportation, VDOT obtained the necessary land through eminent domain, and VDOT continues to hold title to the land. The proposed purchase and sale agreement provides for VDOT to convey the lot to Spotsylvania County, which immediately thereafter would convey the property to PRTC and NVTC. The conveyance by Spotsylvania County to the commissions would include in a reversionary interest, whereby the county would obtain title to the lot in the event the commissions cease to use it for public transportation purposes. That concludes the action VRE items.
Okay, do commissioners have any questions or comments about those two items? And again, it's Resolution 2573 to approve the amended and restated plan of delegation of authority from the commissions to the VRE Operations Board, and Resolution 2575 to approve a purchase and sale agreement with Spotsylvania County for acquisition of the Spotsylvania County VRE station parking lot. Does anyone have any objections to dealing with those two in a block vote? Okay, not seeing any objections. We'll entertain a motion to approve Resolution 2573 and Resolution 2575.
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second. And Chair Snyder, if I could just before, in case we move on too quickly, there's one non-action item that I just want to touch on briefly after we take care of this vote.
Great. Motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? And recall again that we're voting on Resolution 2573 and Resolution 2575. Seeing no further discussion, Rhonda, will you do the roll call, please?
Certainly. Mr. Chair Snyder.
Yeah. Yes.
Mr. Elkhorn.
Aye.
Ms. Bagley.
Aye.
Mr. Bierman.
Aye.
Ms. Briskman.
Aye.
Ms. Coffey.
Yes.
Mr. DeFerenti.
Aye.
Mr. Eben.
Aye.
Mr. Karantonis.
Yes.
Mr. Krizik.
Aye.
Mr. Letourneau.
Aye.
Mr. Lopez.
Aye.
Ms. Palchuk.
Aye.
Ms. Reed.
Aye.
Mr. Reed.
Aye.
Ms. Robinson.
Aye.
Mr. Salim.
What?
Yes.
Mr. Sickles.
Aye.
Mr. Stork.
Aye.
The motion passes.
Thank you, commissioners, very much. I'll turn it back to Sarah. Sarah?
Thank you. Just briefly, obviously, as it was mentioned at the beginning of the VRE discussion items, our CEO, Rich Dalton, has announced his retirement, which will be effective October 3rd. We are very excited for him and his adventures to come, but that does leave the current ops board with the unenviable task of finding a replacement. And so what I wanted to do tonight in the context of just like open discussion and process was just give this group a sense of the process that VRE is going to undertake, and invite any of you who have questions or ideas or just want to have further dialogue with me about it to reach out to me between now and the next time this board meets in September. In September. But essentially, VRE has put together a search committee. That search committee will be meeting tomorrow morning at 8:30 for our first sort of committee meeting. At that time, we hope to settle on a recruitment firm. And we will also be discussing the hopefully a short list and a conversation about an interim CEO, because we will likely need one. Rich has given us 3 months, but given summer and just the natural order of things, we're probably going to need an interim for a couple of months to get us to the end of the year. So the search committee will meet tomorrow morning, and then the operations board will also have a closed session on this topic to discuss only those things that appropriate for closed session. And then the goal will be to get that recruiting firm up and running as quickly as possible. We have a job description that we've been vetting. We will take in applications over the summer with a goal of doing a thorough interview vetting process in September, October, with a goal of hopefully bringing a candidate to the commissions in November, with sort of the fallback of December if we don't meet our most aggressive timeframe. But I think it's an exciting time for, I think given these two conversations tonight, both from VPRA and then the 2050 conversation, it'll certainly be an interesting time selecting new leadership. And I'm optimistic and excited about what's next. So that's our rough timeline. VRE will meet, like I said, the committee will meet in September, and then hope to meet tomorrow in July, and then start the interview process hopefully in September after we spend the summer getting candidates. But feel free to reach out to me with any questions or comments. And I should have an update to this executive committee in September on the process and potentially on the interim. Anybody has any questions, or hope that's helpful.
Thanks so much, Sarah. Do any commissioners have any questions or comments? As I said before, you've been rather busy and likely will stay busy for a long time. So Thank you so much.
Thank you.
No questions or comments for Sarah? Okay, moving on to the report from DRPT Director Tiffany Robinson. I want to just note that how much we appreciate her work. We've been extremely fortunate to have great DRPT directors, and Tiffany is certainly in that line. So Tiffany, thanks again, and I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you so much for saying that, Mr. Chair. We are very busy at DRPT, and you all have my director's report in your packet. So in the interest of time, I'm definitely not going to read it all to you. I've also been including the VPRA director's report attached to mine, because in the past we've gotten a lot of questions. I also serve as the chair of VPRA, but I'm really happy our executive director, DJ Stadler, was able to give you guys an update tonight. And you could hear directly about all the progress happening in passenger rail. So the only two things that I did want to highlight for you quickly was tagging on to what Kate said earlier about our department's review of our merit program. I wanted to give you a quick update there. Merit, as you may remember, stands for Making Efficient and Responsible Investments in Transit. It is DRPT's kind of smart scale tool, if you will. It's how we score and rank projects and applications that come in for our funding allocations. And we are required by code every 3 years to review that program. And that's what we're doing. We have had a couple meetings with the TISDAC, and we this week briefed the CTB on an overview and a refresher, if you will, of what merit is and how it currently works in our system. And we kind of let them have a discussion about the work that we're doing in this review, and we've hired consultants to do that. They are the policy maker. So we wanted to make sure that before we're bringing any recommendations through the TSDAC and to CTB at any point in time, that they really understand the work we're doing as well. So we're currently coordinating the next TSDAC meeting. I'm working tomorrow with our consultants and my own team, and the TSDAC will get an option of dates by tomorrow afternoon, and we'll pick, and hopefully in late July and August, we'll be meeting again with them for the consultant to brief them on the work that they've done and potential options for how we might improve the program. The bottom line really is that our transit agencies' costs are rising, and we have new agencies and new rural services that are desired, and yet our funding is not keeping pace. So we're just looking to make sure that we are making those dollars go as far as possible, and that we're able to ensure taxpayer dollars are serving as many customers as possible. And I think everyone knows we are a partner with all of the agencies, the 40 transit agencies across the Commonwealth. So we look forward to continuing this work. And Kate is a huge help as she's a member of the TSDAC. So we will continue to update you when we have more information to share. And we have proposals that we've received feedback on with the TSDAC and the public as we move forward in the coming weeks and months. And the only other thing I wanted to share, it's sad and happy at the same time. Some of you have gotten to know Todd Horsley, our Northern Virginia Transit Programs Director. He is no longer with us. His last day with our Northern Virginia office at DRPT was June 18th, but we wish him well and we congratulate him. We're really excited. He just started as the CEO of the Center Area Transportation Authority in Pennsylvania. So congratulations to Todd. He's been a great partner. We also are now recruiting for another position. So if anyone has recommendations, we will be doing a search for a new director for the Northern Virginia office for transit programs. And we're also hiring for a transit planner in Northern Virginia. So just throwing that out there, and everyone knows where to find me. Please send recommendations if you have them. That's all for me. Thank you.
Great. Thanks very much. Do any commissioners have any questions for Tiffany? Okay, not seeing any. Again, thanks so much, Tiffany, for all you're doing for the Commonwealth and for Northern Virginia. Next item on the agenda is the Executive Director's Report. Kate, we're almost on time. Even it may not seem like it, but we have a very full agenda and we're almost on time. And I know, Kate, you'll make sure we stay on time. Kate?
Absolutely, Mr. Chair. And even better, our monthly Executive Director Report came out a couple weeks ago. So there's no new news there. Just a reminder, we do not have an August meeting. See, that's good news. Our next meeting is going to be on September 4th. And we do have some committee meetings coming up later in September, currently scheduled for the 18th, but I know we may look at that as some different options. So that is the entirety of my report, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Commissioners, any questions or comments for Kate? And as is true with Tiffany, you know how to reach Kate if you have any questions, for sure. Very accessible. I much appreciate that. So the next item on their agenda is a closed session. It's agenda item number 11. We'll now move into the closed session part of the agenda to discuss a VRE matter. For the benefit of the listening public, we plan to return to an open session following a closed session. The YouTube feed will continue with it muted and a screen notice stating that we are in closed session. The meeting will resume live when we return to open session. In the case of technical difficulties and the live feed is interrupted, viewers should check out the YouTube channel for a new feed. After we take the vote, it will take a minute for Melissa to put the commissioners into a separate breakout room. Staff will remain in the main session room, so they do not need to do anything, but wait for us to return to open session. For this closed session, no staff are participating. Can I have a motion to enter into the closed session? Specifically, the motion is pursuant to the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, Section 2.2-3711.A.1 of the Code of Virginia, the Northern Virginia Transportation Commission moves to convene a closed session to discuss personnel measures concerning appointees of the commission. That will be the motion. Does someone wish to make a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Walter Alcorn and seconded by, who seconded it?
That was me. Bagley.
Sarah Bagley. So we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Okay, seeing or hearing none, Rhonda, will you please do a roll call vote on going into closed session pursuant to the Code of Virginia?
Chair Snyder,
Yes.
Mr. Alcorn,
Aye.
Ms. Bagley,
Yes.
Mr. Bierman,
Aye.
Ms. Brixman,
Aye.
Ms. Coffey,
Yes.
Mr. DeFrenti,
Aye.
Mr. Eben,
Aye.
Mr. Carantonis,
Yes.
Mr. Krizik,
Aye.
Mr. Letourneau,
Aye.
Mr. Lopez,
Aye.
Ms. Palchek,
Aye.
Ms. Reed,
Aye.
Mr. Reed,
Aye.
Ms. Robinson,
Aye.
Mr. Salim,
Aye.
Mr. Sickles,
Aye.
Mr. Stork.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion passes. I'll turn it back to the chair.
Thank you very much. So we'll now go into closed session.
Hey, Chair Snyder, everyone has returned to closed session. We are waiting for the live stream to start back up. All right, you're live and everyone is returned.
Thank you very much. And then just to confirm, the public can see and hear us at this point. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, well, we're now back in open session. Welcome back to the public and staff listening via YouTube live stream. Here's a certification coming out of closed session, and this will be the motion. The Northern Virginia Transportation Commission certifies that to the best of each member's knowledge and with no individual member dissenting at the just concluded closed session. 1, only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements under the Freedom of Information Act were discussed, and 2, only such public business matters as were identified in the motion by which the closed session was convened were heard, discussed, or considered. I'd entertain a motion to that effect.
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made, and who seconded it?
Ms. Bagley did.
Oh,
was that you?
yeah, no, I think it was me or Dahlia, whichever.
No.
No?
Oh, yeah. Moved by Walter Alcorn, seconded by Dalia Palchik. Is there any further discussion on that motion? So will you please call the roll, Rhonda?
Chair Snyder,
Yes.
Mr. Alcorn,
Yes.
Ms. Bagley,
Yes.
Mr. Bierman,
Aye.
Ms. Briskman,
Aye.
Ms. Coffey,
Yes.
Mr. DeFerenti,
Aye.
Mr. Eben,
Aye.
Mr. Karantonis,
Yes.
Mr. Krizik,
Aye.
Mr. Letourneau,
Aye.
Mr. Lopez,
Aye.
Ms. Palchik,
Aye.
Ms. Reed,
Aye.
Mr. Reed,
Aye.
Ms. Robinson,
Aye.
Mr. Salim,
Aye.
Mr. Sickles,
Aye.
Mr. Stork.
Aye.
The motion passes. I'll turn it back to the chair.
Thank you very much. We have 2 resolutions for the commission's consideration. We can vote on both of these actions as a block vote unless there is an objection. 12A, approve resolution 2576, appointment of VRE General Counsel and Chief Legal Officer. And Sarah, would you just give a quick summary of that resolution?
Sure.
Okay.
These resolutions, one is the appointment of VRE General Counsel and Chief Legal Officer to be that we are having our current legal officer is retiring, Steve McIsaac. And so this is a proposal to hire a new Chief Legal Officer and their associated contract. And the second item is a memorandum that addresses an agreement that that person will also provide legal services to NVTC in the manner described in the memorandum.
Right, and who is the person?
Oh, I'm sorry. And our optimistically, our VRE's new general counsel, her name is Min Chao Kaur. She is currently the Arlington County attorney and has a really exemplary record representing Arlington County for 12 or 13 years, I believe. And we are very excited at the possibility of seeing her join VRE.
Okay, does anyone have any questions or comments on these 2 actions?
Mr. Chair, just,
Yes.
I think for the record in open session, those of us in Arlington should say that we did check to see if there was a legal conflict of interest on this matter in our participating and voting, and there was not.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments on this? Then I entertain a motion to approve these 2 action items as a block vote. Is there a motion?
So moved.
A second? All right, any further discussion? All right, so we're voting now on resolution 2576 and 2577.
And who seconded?
Second.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks very much. So Rhonda, will you call the roll, please?
Yes. Chair Snyder,
Yes.
Mr. Alcorn,
Aye.
Ms. Bagley,
Aye.
Mr. Bierman,
Aye.
Ms. Briskman,
Aye.
Ms. Coffey,
Yes.
Mr. DeFerenti,
Aye.
Mr. Eben,
Aye.
Mr. Karantonis,
Yes.
Mr. Krizik,
Yes.
Mr. Letourneau,
Aye.
Mr. Lopez?
Aye.
Thank you. Ms. Pelchick?
Aye.
Ms. Reed? Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Ms. Robinson?
Aye.
Mr. Salim?
Aye.
Mr. Sickles?
Aye.
Mr. Stork?
Aye.
The motion passes. Turn it back to the chair.
Thank you very much. So I just, before I conclude the meeting, I want to thank the commissioners and staff. This meeting, more than many others, summarizes the full length and scope of what NVTC does, from particular projects to long-term planning and to our role in serving Northern Virginia and the entire Commonwealth. So I want to thank everyone that has been involved with this meeting. I would ask, does anyone have anything that they want to raise at this point?
Congratulations to the staff on how well this ran. I just wanted to say, like, from a technology perspective, I thought this went really beautifully. So kudos to the staff involved.
Yep, absolutely. I'd entertain a motion then that we adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Oh, sorry.
All those in favor? I don't think I have to do a roll call on this, but Rhonda, you want to do a roll call on the adjournment?
Sure. Chair Snyder?
Yeah.
Mr. Alcorn?
Yes.
Ms. Bagley?
Yes.
Mr. Bierman?
Aye.
Miss Briskman?
Aye.
Ms. Coffey?
Yes.
Mr. DeFerenti?
Yes.
Mr. Eben?
Aye.
Mr. Carantonis?
Yes, and good night.
Mr. Krizik?
Yes.
Mr. Letourneau?
Aye.
Mr. Lopez?
Aye.
Ms. Pelchick?
Aye.
Ms. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Ms. Robinson?
Aye.
Mr. Salim?
Aye.
Mr. Sickles?
Aye, sorry.
And Mr. Stork?
Aye.
That passes unanimously.
Thank you. Good night and good luck. We are adjourned. Thank you.